Well, on that note, I guess we will get started. We are just about a minute after 11. If anybody has just popped in, we're going to remind you to please keep your microphone on mute unless you are speaking or answering a question. We're going to ask you to do that because last week we were experiencing a little bit of feedback issues with too many mics on at the same time. So I will be doing the same thing as well. I will also be muting my mic when the gentlemen are talking or when our audience is responding to a question. So welcome. If you are joining us for the first time this week, thank you for being with us today. We had a couple new registrations, so we'll be excited to see a few new faces out there. We're going to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes together as much as we can, and this time during social distancing that we're experiencing. But we'll be together for the next 20 to 30 minutes, and during that time, we're going to continue our efforts to bring the merchant services industry together, help you stay connected, help you stay informed, and help you stay inspired. So I'm wondering if before we start, if Ayan and Ben would introduce themselves again, just in case anyone is new to the call or hasn't met you before. We'll start with Ayan. Ayan, could you introduce yourself and tell our attendees what you do with Navigator?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ayan Creation. I am the co-founder and chief revenue officer for Navigator. I spent 15 years in payment processing industry. And 2 years ago, I decided to build a tool that will benefit all the merchant services professionals that are selling payment processing.
And I'm Ben Schmink. I've been in the payment industry since 1998, mostly as an employee of First Data, but currently I run Smart and Secure, which is my own agency for payments. I work mostly with Aurora. Anyway, but yeah, I'm happy to be aboard and happy to do what I can to continue to encourage everyone in our industry.
Okay, thank you very much. Just want to make sure I introduce myself as well. My name is Kira. I am your moderator and host today, and I do some marketing work with Navigator. Very happy to be here. We will skip introductions of going around the room because I think that would take us quite a while and take up a lot of our 20 to 30 minutes. But I do want to encourage that if you have a camera and would like to turn it on and be here with us in this space, we welcome you to do that. You certainly don't have to, but if you would like to join us with your video camera, feel free to do so. We are here. So we're going to dive into our first question for today, and it's actually a very similar question that we started with last week. However, I think it's important to revisit this question because our world is continuing to change and we're getting new information every day in dealing with the COVID situation. So my first question for you guys this morning, how does the COVID situation continue to impact the merchant services industry specifically? And have your projections for the long-term impacts changed from last week? I can ask this question to Ayan and Ben because they were here last week, answered this question. We're curious to hear if your thoughts are the same or if anything's different. So Ayan, I'm wondering if we could start with you.
Basically, I will update my answer. I am adding to my answer the observations I've made in the past week. Merchants are entrepreneurs. The current conditions will force them to adapt in order to survive. Time is not an issue anymore. In the past, merchants always complain, I don't have time to do this, I don't have to do that. Now, time is not an issue. Merchants these days are able to use the time they have to embrace technology and take advantage of this and implement solutions and innovation that were not prepared to do before. Now they are forced to do that. And I'm talking about merchants like restaurants and retailers who still could sell online and through mobile apps. There are other merchants like hair salons or businesses who are not allowed to do business who basically take advantage of this time to do some spring cleanup, to review their processes, to improve their processes, to look at the entire business and see what can they do better when times come back up and the business goes in force. This is temporarily. I believe that they all look at this current situation this way, and I believe that this is going to change and everyone will come out of this stronger than before.
Okay, thank you so much. Ben, I'm going to ask you the same question. How is the COVID situation continuing to impact the merchant services industry? And have you changed your projections or your thoughts from last week?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had a roller coaster of a week personally. I think most of us would be lying if we said that we were all just cool and knew what was going to happen. So I have reshifted my business and my spirit into a wait and see attitude. I have not leapt on any specific strategy just as of yet, but I am preparing myself for several contingencies. So I'm creating lists of merchants that are that should be the first to bounce back, merchants that I have products that can help with once things settle down. I've got some businesses. Just yesterday, for example, I had a liquor store that was one of my strongest clients even through this whole entire week, and they suddenly got an order. They're not allowed to have anyone coming into their business anymore. So I just set them up with a portable point of sale, wireless point of sale, and it should be here today. I'm going to run out, install it, and they'll be able to, ironically, deliver Jack Daniel's curbside directly to their customers, which is bizarre, but such is the nature of our industry these days. So I think staying positive is crucial for us, staying flexible and staying educated. I don't know when those aren't the three best practices just in general in this industry, because it changes so often, but especially with the uncertainty that we're facing now, I think we shouldn't just be playing solitaire during these downtimes. We need to be educating ourselves and preparing ourselves with logical products that make sense for now and when our merchants come out of this slowdown.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for sharing that insight too. And yes, it's certainly a changing world that we're living in. Who would have thought, liquor, curbside delivery? But it's interesting that you were still able to find a solution. And I kind of want to talk a little bit more about that idea and just about selling in general right now. So next question I am going to ask Ayan and Ben first, but we'd also like to hear from some of our audience and our people who are calling in today. If you have any thoughts about this question as well, so I'm going to give it to you now. Think about your answers while the guys are talking, and we'd love to hear from a few more of you. So the question is this: Is anybody struggling with feeling a little guilty selling right now? It's a concerned climate. People are worried, whatever. We've heard from a few people, at least I have, that there are some people out there feeling kind of guilty. I don't know if I should be pushing my stuff. I don't know if I should be selling right now. So how have you handled those feelings, and what types of sales strategies would you recommend employing right now? And we'll start with Ayan for that.
Thank you, Kira. I had a call with a client, actually one of my first clients I signed 15 years ago earlier today. And thinking at your question, I would like to compare the word selling with the word helping. Those two words are very similar. The only difference between selling and helping is the exchange of money that takes place when you talk about selling. But everything else about selling is helping. This client, who was a client of mine for many years, 5 years ago, I told him on the idea of implementing an app into their business. And today, 5 years later, because I was able to sell them a product that they didn't see value at the time, is basically making a difference into their business today. And if I speak more about selling and helping basically and selling, you can use the same attributes. Make it easier for someone to do something, improve a situation or a problem, be of benefit or assist someone to move into a specified direction and serve someone. So all these are attributes of the word helping, which you can turn it into selling when you add the exchange of money. But as right now, nobody expected to get paid from helping people. So selling and helping are two similar words that you shouldn't be guilty about. You shouldn't be feeling guilty about helping someone or selling someone a solution that would help them move forward.
Wise words. Thank you, Ayan. Ben, can we hear from you as well? Can we hear your thoughts?
Oh, I couldn't agree more with what Ayan said. I mean, if we in the past, in our daily routine, if we're not leaving people better than when we found them, then what are we? Well, what's our even purpose in living? But in our careers, I mean, that's the whole entire point of what we're supposed to be doing, is going out and finding people, finding what their issues are, solving their problems, and and doing likewise continually as often as we can. And really, that isn't just what we do. That's supposed to be what capitalism is, right? Capitalism is simply monetizing evolution, finding problems, solving problems, and generating income with the gap where that pain used to be. So absolutely, I agree with you 100%. That is our strategy. My current actual strategy is to maintain my current portfolio and make sure that everyone in my current portfolio has the tools they need to weather the storm. That's not a small thing. My portfolio isn't as big as it used to be because I shifted gears recently into this new independent status, but my laptop is actually sitting on top of my entire list of clients. It's a good 7 inches higher off my desk than usual. And I'm in touch with every single one of those people to make sure that everyone's needs are being met.
Thank you. Super helpful insights. Appreciate it, guys. This time, we'd like to open it up to the attendees. If there's anybody who is joining us, who either just wants to raise a hand and say, "Yeah, I've been struggling with that. I feel that way too," and just kind of get that out there, feel free. Or if anybody has any other insights, thoughts, advice, feelings about selling in the current climate, we'd welcome you to take yourself off mute and share with us. I do also want to remind you that there's a chat option available, so if you feel more comfortable chatting, you can do that as well. So I'll pause for just a moment to see if anyone on the call has any thoughts about sales strategies in the current climate.
Hi, Kira. It's John Whitehall.
Hi, John. Good to hear from you.
Hi, everyone. Hey, sorry I'm late to the party. Good to see you, Abraham. Hi, and how are you? As some of you know, I make my living as a Sandler sales trainer. So I teach people how to sell. I teach people how to manage salespeople, and everybody's struggling with the same things right now. Is how do we move forward when the world is at a standstill? And I'm just going to offer this advice that came out of my morning session today with my regular Sandler group. Your clients really want to talk to somebody about what they're experiencing right now. So one of the things that we do is we try to, in normal times, we try to come up with questions that allow us to connect personally with our prospects, with our customers. And we usually start with things like, what are you seeing in the industry? How's it affecting you? All those sort of, is kind of a predicted cadence. And I think right now, really, you want to just open up to people, connect to your current clients, your prospects, even your past clients, and they just need to talk to somebody about what they're going through. If you're like me, I'm pent up in my house right now with my wife, okay? And I love her to death, but the longer we're in the same house, the less time we're actually spending in the same room. Okay, and so I can't really have a deep and honest business conversation with her. She's just not really primed for that. But your colleagues, people who are buying from you, or people you've had some sort of a sales conversation with them, pick up the phone, because one, you're likely to get them because they aren't out at lunch, they aren't playing golf, they aren't doing any things they normally do. They're probably sitting by the phone. And two, they really love somebody to ask them the question, tell me, how's it going for you? And, more importantly, how's this affecting you personally? How's this affecting you professionally? What changes have you made since we've gone through this unprecedented piece of change? And I think just by re-engaging with your current clients, anyone you've ever had a sales conversation with, is probably fair game to pick up the phone and just ask them how they're doing.
That's awesome. Thank you, John. I feel a little bit more calm already just listening to you talk, just hearing you ask those questions. Anybody else out there?
I sound calm, but there's a whole boatload of chaos going on here. But.
Oh, I know it. I hear you. Is that Danny up there?
It is. Hi, guys. Nice to see you all. I'm Danny Thorpe with the Green Sheet, and Ian and everybody at Fee Navigator has just been amazing in allowing us to be part of this. So first, I want to thank you all. And the next thing I want to say is everybody's touched on staying connected. And I feel that by doing that and just being decent human beings, we will weather this and we will get through this stronger and more united in the payments arena, in our just day-to-day lives, and just everyone moving on this earth. And, it is scary times. I'll be honest, it is very scary. But if you feed into that fear, you're dead. You're dead in the water. So it takes not feeding into that fear. It takes changing your mindset, and it takes staying connected with everyone in the payments industry. I've been making personal calls for a while now, even before coronavirus hit, just touching people and saying, hey, how's it going? How can I help you? Because here at the Green Sheet, that's what we're here to do, is help all of you guys. So if you need me, if you need Dale Lazick, who's also on the call, please reach out. We're on LinkedIn, and we'd love to connect with all of you. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much for your insights and for sharing of wise words across the board this morning. Anything else to add on the context, or on the thing of sales strategy? Yes, Abraham. Nice to meet you. I've heard about you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
I was happy to be here. So yes, selling something that I'm still doing throughout this time. What I wanted to share with you guys is, now that this is in everybody's mind, whenever you're selling, you have to be empathetic, right? And you have to understand that, people's priorities have shifted. They're probably in a different emotional state, they're probably in a different mental state, and they're probably in a different financial state, like when it comes to how they're thinking about their finances. And perhaps in the past, we position our products or services as things to improve the business. And I feel right now, I guess you could see that as a vitamin, right? Right now, people are looking for painkillers. So if you can position your product as a painkiller in terms of, for example, I sell marketing, and I'm positioning my product during the sales calls as taking into consideration, okay, the market's going to shrink, people are going to they're going to be experiencing the recession, you're probably going to have less access to the attention that you did in the past. Now we need to market differently. Right now, what I'm telling my clients is the same thing that I'm telling you guys. It's we need to keep the people that we're marketing to, their emotional state, where they're at, in mind when we market. And that's what I'm doing with them, because I know they're thinking about this. They're thinking about how the market's shifting, how everything's going to affect their own businesses. So with that being said, just being empathetic to where your clients are at, what's going on through their mind, and speaking to them. And I think if you're able to do that in your sales calls, you'll get less resistance from them, and they'll flow a lot more smoothly.
Thanks, Abraham. It was great to hear from the marketing perspective as well. Anybody else out there before we move on to our next question? Okay, well, we have two more. I think we're going to push it to 11:30 today. We've been saying 20-30 minutes, so if anybody needs to get off at 11:20, no problem. We're coming up to that mark now. We have two more questions that I think we can get through. Pete, yeah, what's up?
Can I share something real quick?
Sure.
Ben brought me into this business in First Data, 2006. Shifted to an ISO about 6 years ago. It's 8 in First Data, now with the ISO. So Ben and I go way, way, way back. But something Ben said reminds me. I'm sort of just hovering back and waiting for the calls to come in. I've got about 200 merchants in my portfolio. About a third are through a partner. Most of those are grocery stores. So last Saturday, my numbers are strong in my portfolio right now because that grocery store thing, the toilet paper wave, I call it, is going very strong. Last Saturday, there was an outage. So for about 2 hours, I was getting all kinds of calls. Part of the processing, the PAX device, there was an outage for a little bit. It got a little crazy. So I've kind of gone to, what do you need from me? And this actually encourages me. I'm going to make sure my little email group for that partner is updated. I'm going to blast something out to them. And you're going to laugh when I say this, but how's your thermal paper supply? Those things you don't want to run out of. They're trying to keep their grocery stores stocked. Is their back room thermal paper, because sometimes I'll get these crazy calls. Oh, do you have any paper? Well, poor planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part. Besides that, besides just checking in with them and saying, how's it going? What do you need from me? I don't know what else we can do. We're just kind of riding this out, but maybe just reaching out, because these guys are so focused on serving others, maybe for somebody to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, I'm here. What do you need? How's it going? We're in this together. That might not hurt. So
I love
anyway.
that. That's a great idea. Even something as simple as, like you said, the ticker paper or whatever that's called. That is such a small thing, but anticipating that need could be so huge for somebody. You're right, because then they go to reach in there, reach under, get that box, get that next roll, and it's not there. That's going to ruin their day really quick. So that's a great example. It's a great point.
Great comment, Pete.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, I'm going to kick it over to our next question, which is actually a little bit, we're going to steer it back a little bit towards Fee Navigator. I know that the majority of the people on the call today are Fee Navigator users in some way or another. So I do briefly want to touch on Fee Navigator and the tools that we offer and which ones might be the most valuable in the current climate. So I know that Fee Navigator was kind of built to perform in digital spaces. So I'm wondering if we could hear from Ian and Ben, who are Fee Navigator experts and working in the industry now. Which of Fee Navigator's tools are you finding the most effective in the current client, and how are you leveraging it? I'm going to ask that question to Ben first. If you heard me, I know you were in and out there. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, I had to restart just to make sure that we're good. I think I'm good. So, really, again, sorry. Okay, yeah. So the ability for my clients to send their statements to me via email, again, is such a brilliant idea. To just be able to give folks a link or an email address where they're able to let me see their statements and have Fee Navigator automatically do the review is just brilliant. There's nothing else like it out there. And especially in a non-face-to-face environment, what more could you possibly ask for?
Awesome. Yeah, no brick and mortar needed. No brick and mortar stores required. So, which is awesome. Ian, I'm going to ask you the same question. You're obviously heavily in the platform every day, all the time, built it. Which of Fee Navigator's tools do you think would be most effective in today's climate, and how would you leverage it?
They all are, but I'll focus on a few. Even starting from the spring cleanup concept, we have enough time now to focus on things that we normally don't. Fee Navigator can help merchant services sales professionals get organized. They can actually drop into Fee Navigator platform all their statements they received in the past 6 months and have all in one place digitized and clearly highlighting the opportunities for the future. That's one way. The second way, they can use the email bot to ask merchants to drop a statement and instantly to find out if they are paying for non-PCI compliance, for example. That's one expense that no one can afford these days, that normally they ignore and pay $29 or $59, or I saw some companies charging $125 or $169 a month for something they can fix and they can avoid instantly. So Fee Navigator will help merchants and agents help their merchants identify those fees instantly without the need to have physical contact or spend time to look over a 10-page statement. Fee Navigator does it in 4 seconds or 5 or 7 seconds. So those are the two tools I like to focus on. There is more we have, there is more we can do for you, but our purpose of the call today is to focus on how we can help each other, not on selling or pitching any products.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. So we are coming down to our last couple of minutes here, so I am going to skip down to our last question, and this is kind of you can take this question either way. We do want to take an opportunity to just open up the floor for general questions or feedback. So just, if there's something that you kind of want to ask the group, do you have a question? Is there something that's on your mind, something you want to share? That's option number one. So if you've got anything, we're at open forum. If you haven't got anything, the second question that I would ask that you would consider answering is, how is your business giving back right now? And I asked that question because today specifically, I know we have a couple of different industries and roles represented, and there's been, despite the difficulty and the hardship and challenges out there, we've been seeing a lot of inspiration too. Businesses are giving back, they're giving advice, they're helping each other. So twofold question, number one, how are we doing? Just generally, thoughts, questions, concerns. Or number two, how is your business giving back? So I'll pause and see if anybody's got anything. Nobody does. I'll just call on Ion or Ben because they always have something to say.
Here, well, I'll talk. The silence is awkward, so.
Thanks, God.
As I kind of talk for a living. My business is kind of on its state of hold right now. You would think that sales training and mentoring your management team, which should be the last thing people cancel, but it happens to be the first. So I'm trying to reach out, be helpful. I'm going to be doing programs similar to what I'm participating in today. I've learned very quickly how to present in a virtual way. And I'm just planting seeds for the future because this isn't going to go on forever. I do believe that we're going to rebound, and when that happens, we're going to be stronger for it. The big question is we just have no idea what that timeline is. If we understood the timeline, I think this could be a lot easier. But I'm going to be doing programs similar to this, and frankly, I'm going to give it away until businesses are willing and able to pay me for it.
Yeah, thanks, John. That's great insight. Something that I'm doing in my business, or something that we're trying to do, is really a lot of our clients are just they're in a state of unsureness. They want to move, they're not sure how to move. So we're trying to pivot with them. Even if we've contracted them for X services, if Y service makes more sense in a digital climate, we're going to work with them on that. So that's something that we've really been trying to do, is try to just be flexible, teamwork, work together, share resources, and worry about, the dollars and cents and everything else later. It's really important to us that we make things work, for the clients that we're working with. So it's not super groundbreaking or anything huge that we're doing. We're not giving away millions of dollars or, funding charities or anything, but we're just trying to work with our people where they are. Also did want to note that Dale left a message that if you think of an example of giving back after this call, that I'd love to share with Green Sheets readers, so you can email Dale directly. So if you think of something afterwards, not on the call, just wanted to call attention to her message. But I'll ask again, anybody out there, thoughts, questions, concerns, or anything your business is doing to give back? All right. Well, we are about 2 minutes shy of 11:30, so we will call that a wrap for today. We'd like to thank everybody for coming. Ben, Ion, any final words?
Thanks again for inviting me. This is always the highlight of my week, especially when we're stuck and really absolutely need encouragement. So thanks again, Ion, Navigator, for making this possible.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for participating. We'll keep doing these calls every week at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays. We are working very hard, actually harder than before, to roll out some new tools and make our solution even better than it is today. Anyone that that could benefit from help from us, from anyone on this call actually, I know everyone on this call personally, I will ask them as a favor to help the person who is in need of help. If anyone can benefit from the help of any person on this call today, including myself. We do have the time available. The time is our most important asset, but these days we have enough time to help each other and share tips or tricks, or share good thoughts and encouragement to help each other move on from this current situation and be prepared to start from zero again when the good times comes.
Hi, Danny. Last words. Hey.
So I wanted to also make sure everybody connect on LinkedIn and Twitter on this page that, where we're at now. Reach out to people, because that's how we're also going to stay connected. And if you need my, how to connect with me, I'm here to help, just like Ian, just like everybody else on this call. Dale and I work closely together. And so that's what we've been doing, is just tag teaming and helping as many as we can in the payments industry. So I look forward to connecting with all you guys.
All right, thank you very much. We will call today a wrap then. And like Ion said, we look forward to seeing you next week, Wednesday, 11 o'clock, right here. We'll all be here. So we will look forward to seeing you next week. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything else, please feel free to reach out to, I'm going to volunteer Ion. Feel free to reach out to Ion if you need anything in the meantime. And we will look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good rest of your day.